song now. So the deal is, it's a TV show. You're our live studio audience. We're so glad you're here. Being a TV show or an internet show or a TV show, you're along for the ride, and we might stop and take things back. We might stop and fix the lights if I mess them up. We might stop and fix the sound, and you're here to support that ride, and we're so, so glad you're here. Keep your phones on. Keep your phones out if you want to, or put them away if you want to. But if you want to keep them out, and hashtag best evening ever. We're giving out prizes, treats, and if you want a prize or a treat, hashtag best evening ever on Facebook or Instagram. That'd be the best. And besides that, we're ready to go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say live from, well, I'll be quiet. I'm going to say live from Edgewater, it's Good Evening with Pat Whalen. Then I'm going to click it, and then we're all going to go nuts. Sound fine? Nuts. Live from Edgewater, it's Good Evening with Pat Whalen, episode 28. This is episode 28. We are live on Facebook. Hey, Mark Zucks. Call me, dude. Answer my messages. I see when you're on there. Active for 15 years. We see you, dude. Call me, man. Thanks again for being here. I thank you twice now. And there'll probably be many more, but it's just gratitude, okay? You can show your gratitude to me. I mean, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but you can by using the hashtag Best Evening Ever and putting that on, LinkedIn, Friendster, just all the basics, okay? And as Will mentioned, we do have prizes to give away, and if you'd like some of those prizes, I highly recommend using the hashtag. I'm just saying, it's not rigged, but we do have a system. We have rules. So let's get right into it. Words. What even are they? Well, we're going to get to that. We have a fantastic lineup to get into, what exactly that is. I haven't really done any research, and that's why I've asked these very smart and talented people to join me. But first, a little bit of the news, if you will. Despite widespread allegations of foul play by Chicago's Board of Ethics Committee, but what do they know, right? Campaign contributors are still using Mayor Rahm Emanuel's private email account to pitch ideas and to trade strategy. Now, that sounds concerning, I know, until you realize over half of these emails being sent kind of read along the lines of maybe sit out this next election, maybe just stay at home, and just wear 2 sweater vests or whatever you want to do. In Chicago news further, the Loop's Quincy CTA stop, frequented by Brown and Purple Lines, but who's counting, is getting an $18 million makeover. $18 million. So that's going to be 2 new elevators. It's going to be a nice new paint job. And hey, it's a deal. It only costs us 50 public schools. Yeah! Is it hot in here or is it just wrong? Okay. Being president can be tough. You're always being compared to other presidents and their famous speeches. There's Kennedy's "Ask Not What Your Country Can Do For You" speech. There's Reagan's "Shining City on a Hill." Well, the AP released their transcript from a Trump interview last week. Let's see if any very great quotes stuck out. Let's see what we have. Okay. I cannot wait to see "unintelligible" carved into marble on the Washington Mall.
Someday, if we're lucky, if we make it that long. Okay, let's keep it light. Let's keep it light. It's a comedy show, comedy. Chicago Cubs president Theo Epstein. A lot of Sox fans here tonight. Theo Epstein got another big win recently, being voted Fortune magazine's greatest leader in the world. This is true. Can you believe it? This guy beat out Germany's Angela Merkel. He beat China's Xi Jinping, and he, not so surprisingly, beat a burlap sack full of diabetes and rage. But who's counting? We're not partisan, by the way. In anticipation of Mother's Day next Sunday, it was revealed that Vice President Mike Pence, we haven't taken a shot at him yet, so. Vice President Mike Pence has stated that households with 2 working parents lead to, quote, stunted emotional growth for their children. Yes, he's making the case against stay-at-home moms. And I gotta tell you, it's strange to hear this kind of language from the world's most famous stay-at-home dad. Look at that proud papa. So pleased. Like I said, might I see, sir? Yes, you did very good. Very good job. A Chicago man was arrested when a handgun and marijuana was found alongside a 1-year-old baby boy in his stroller. That story again, the world's coolest 1-year-old got his dad arrested. What's this baby doing in my gun stroller? My kind of town. The UK's Daily Mail publication, once again, the UK's Daily Mail publication, which is, I think, a newspaper. England is weird. They recently printed a cover story showing both UK and Scotland's female prime minister's legs below the knee, with a headline reading, "Never mind Brexit, who won Legsit?" Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. When asked why they went with such a sexist headline and photo, the editor of the Daily Mail responded, "Auga, humana, humana, humana." Who knew? English anthropomorphized wolf edits a very major publication. Brexit has changed that. They're very loose. It's very different over there. The Washington Post, getting back to a more structured way of running a newspaper, the Washington Post is reporting that, quote, Trump is looking more and more like a man without a plan. Welcome to the party. The paper also recently debuted a new tagline you may have heard about for these troubled times. The Washington Post, the hottest takes from early 2015. Where have you been? They're in Washington. Anyway. Beginning in 2018, Saudi Arabia will formally enter a UN commission aimed at empowering the status of women around the globe. Yes, that's Saudi Arabia. The Saudi contingent stated that they were looking forward to including women in the commission, as of course it was all men who was elected to this commission of empowering women. They're looking forward to having women on the commission as soon as they can provide permission slips from their fathers. I don't write them. Comedy show. An Israeli city removed Smurfette from the Smurf movie posters in an effort to avoid, quote, inciting feelings amongst men in the town. How could you resist? And this is fine with me. I kind of get it, but somebody's going to have to explain to me how Bacon Smurf got a pass. How does that make sense? We got a great show for you tonight. Great show. Fantastic show. We're going to have music from Michael DeVille. educator and all-around most Chicagoan Chicagoist ever, Kevin Koval. But first, we'll play a little game, a little patent-pending game here at Good Evening called That Being Said, where I invite someone up onto the stage from the audience. I ask them 3 multiple-choice questions. If you get 2 out of 3 of those questions right, you win a prize. If you don't, we'll talk. John, we have John Cohen as our box office manager. You may have met John earlier when he came in. Hello, John. John, of course, a member of the Chicago Teachers Union. How's it going, John? Summer's coming.
I'm exhausted.
He says that every time. I never... John, do you have a name for an audience member to join me for That Being Said currently?
It's loading.
It's loaded.
Yes.
How's it going? Where are you in from today? I'm really talking to you. This is happening. I'm sorry. Where are you from?
Ohio.
Oh, wait, really?
Oh, wait.
Welcome. Well, you know, I got a great book for you to read out there in Ohio. You know, it's called The People's History of Chicago. Very interesting book. Go Buckeyes. That went pretty well. Any Buckeyes fans here in the audience tonight? Wow. Rom got a warmer reception than the Buckeyes. Oh, John says we got one.
Yes, apparently we do. It's Laura Gotch.
Laura Gotch! Laura Gotch, come on down. Give it up for Laura Gotch. Is it Laura? Is it Laura? Laura. Very nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Pat. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Episode 28, words. Laura, what's your favorite word? This is not one of the questions.
My favorite word is beautiful.
You took mine, but that's okay. So Laura, again, I explained earlier, but it feels like forever and a day ago, so I'm just going to do it one more time. I'm going to ask you 3 multiple choice questions.
Right.
You get 2 out of 3 of these questions correct, you win a prize. Your prize today, a copy of A People's History of Chicago, written by Kevin Koval. So the stakes are high.
Okay.
And so is, okay. So, that being said, question number 1. Laura, are you ready?
I think so, yes.
Okay, you gotta know for sure. Did you sign the waiver?
No, but
No?
yes, I'm
All right,
ready.
well, we'll
I'm ready.
figure it out. It's not like this is being streamed live on Facebook or anything. One word that President Trump loves is coal. Coal. He repeatedly promised to revive the coal industry here in America, which employs currently about 76,500 Americans. That being said, how many people work at Arby's in the United States? Is it A, 35,000 people, B, 60,000 people, or C, 80,000 people? Laura, we're going to play some thinking music for you. You can ask the audience if you want. We're going to tell you anyway. Cheddar. Question number 2, Laura, you ready?
Yeah.
One word we'd like to see more of here in Illinois is budget. We haven't had one since the year 2015. In that year, when we had a state budget, those were the days. Those days, higher education received almost $2 million in aid from the state of Illinois. That being said, how much funding did Illinois State universities receive in 2016 when we did not have a state budget, Laura? Is it A, $950,000, B, $650,000, or C, $350,000? Laura.
Sounds like I'm going to say C.
D. C. You're going to say C, $350,000 is F. Laura, you got 2 out of 3 questions right, and that technically means you win, but I put a lot of effort into this third question, so I'd appreciate it if you just answered it. Great. Fantastic. We're going to do the third one anyway. We're going to do it. I wrote it. I was up late last night writing it. President Trump, Donald Trump, said his golf trips to Mar-a-Lago are easier on taxpayers than trips to New York City because they, quote, cost, because they cost almost nothing. That's a quote. That's a quote. That being said, how much does it cost to use Air Force One per day? Is it A, $20,000, B, $70,000, or C, $140,000 bigger? It's just like the SAT. C, $140K is absolutely correct. $140,000. Laura, you win a copy of a People's History Thank you. Give it up for Laura, everybody. It's fantastic. That's so nice. She got the book. She got the questions right. I didn't realize they were all C. I probably could have thought about that. Made it a little harder, but that's okay. Guys, earlier I mentioned that we have more prizes to give away if you're using the hashtag Best Evening Ever on Friendster, Go Bongo, Trivago. We're on Trivago. Check us out. Please keep that in mind as we move into the musical portion of the show. We're about to welcome up Michael DeVille. Michael and Tony, everybody, get up here. What do you have here?
This is my cassette for the newest album I just dropped called Peace Fam.
Yeah! So where's the USB?
I got cassettes because I thought, to have some, even if you don't have a cassette player, something physical to have, and on the inside is an insert for a free download code for a digital copy, just in case you like to prefer that. So,
in all seriousness, I've heard recently from an audiophile that I know that tapes, in terms of sound quality, actually very much on par with vinyl, and I'm being serious about that.
And y'all, we work for the tape industry.
Hello. Checks in the mail. Are you guys all set? You feeling good? This is fantastic. I'm going to get out of your way and let you do your thing. Ladies and gentlemen, here to perform his new track from his album, Peace Fam. Oh, wait, we're going to slate first. Yeah, I've done this 28 times. I'd just like to remind everybody. Hey, Al, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man.
All right. Good Evening with Pat Whalen, episode 28. Michael DeVille, song 1.
Peace Fam!
This one's called Peace Fam, y'all.
Wanna keep my little brother breathing, breathing. And we just try to receive the visions that we can see. We always fight but never dreaming, dreaming. Of course we can pull it off, yeah. Fight is a radical self-care. Treat your friends like you treat yourself. Love your smile, never love their wealth. You grab them tight, let you go run wild. No first change take place in the mind revolt. Yo, we're the ones that's in control. Arming together with powerful. Riding the calm and all. While West Coast more easy and hard to breathe. Sharpen the mind with serenity. See what you want, but take what you need. Is it going to breathe? Wanna keep my little brother breathing, breathing. And we just try to receive visions that we can see. We always fight but never screaming, screaming. Peace and gonna take these hands on me. Do the same for my family. Spread the love so we can all get free. Peace and gonna take these hands on me. Do the same for my family. Spread the love so we can all get free. We must try, you know why? We'll never get by, if we lie. We must try, you know why? We'll never get by, if we lie. Stay alive.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Oh, we're gonna do it again.
I'll do the whole thing again.
Did you guys like the song?
Oh
yeah! Did you like it enough to do it again? Michael.
Yes.
How you been, man? This is your second time on the show.
Yeah, it's my second time. I've been busy.
So, what's been going on?
I've been out here. Oh my God, thank you so much. Trying to weave narrative and lyrical and hip hop and poetry, like so many artists in the city do, together into one. So I also have a poetry group called Growing Concerns Poetry Collection. Jeff Austin, we do poetry around the city with musical backing. And in between me performing shows and writing albums, I do poetry with my poetic. So.
That sounds like a lot of work, man.
Yeah, but when it comes from the spirit like a faucet, then it ain't work. It's just something you do. Whoa.
What?
You should host a talk show. It's a lot easier. Please don't do that, because you'll run me out of the game so I don't have people up here mouthing along with my monologue jokes. You know what I mean? Yet! Have you met Kevin Kogel and Megan Durkee?
Yes, they're amazing human beings, great Chicagoans, man. So I'm glad we all in the same.
Are you
same
from
room.
Chicago?
I am.
You know, I thought so.
Pat. Oh, give Mike check when you're ready.
Hey, hi. My name's Pat. I should probably hand it to the guys. Hey, can y'all hear me? Is that... Yeah.
So we're not going to slate again. We're going to go right into it.
Yeah, after this. I see you arrested right there. It's cool. We're going to get you up, okay?
Hey, guys, real quick, I don't want to bring anybody down, but give it up for Mike Aldeville!
Yeah, this one's called Peace Down, man. It's about taking up space with intention. Intentionality is important, especially... Good enough, okay? Okay, here we go, y'all. This song is called Peace Down. Don't take much space with intention. I can do this all day. I'm running deep right here. This is amazing. You're not a fan, I'm sorry. Doesn't hear a lot of me. Yo. Damn.
his headphones on when it's dark, when his hat's hit low, and a mouth full of spark, Jill Scott in his ear with some love in his heart. In the city that depends where you at, If you're light-skinned, Puerto Rican, or black, what? Mexican in his hand in his backyard. Brown woman in his headscarf, that's my colorful people. Free throws, these give us food like shooting free throws. West to the south, from shooting, please know when the C-H-I-C-H-E-O. Need some epiphanies for the periphery. We can treat our life like a symphony, a little empathy instead of infantry. So long on the beat, hikey, float like a butterfly, sing like a bee. Peace to the most high, King God, me, the skinny little black boy just like me. Gotta think for your feet, gotta think for your feet, hey. We can see another day if we maintain. Fill up one sun up in the right brain. Grab hold to you, learn how to take game, pop it out, fuck along with college. We can be ourselves in the stand around. We ain't got a front like you know Obama, like a real with a suit when you're downtown too. Yeah, don't know, yeah. Take up space with attention. Everybody gonna learn to pay attention. Yes, so right might come a little distance. Won't beg even give my distance. Yeah, seems so little, but the truth is big. Don't need to just for the distance. Together we can find a cure. We can face anything worth fighting for. In this rough up battle of war, unite to fight the right, not the same as yours. We can be the dream that the king used to think about. Hold hands and stand out. Everybody screaming out. Peace, fam, gonna take these chains on me. Do the same for my family. Spread the love so we can all get free. Peace, fam, gonna take these chains on me. Do the same for my family. Spread the love so we can all get free. We must try, you know why? You never give if we lie. We must try, you know why? We'll never get by if we lie. Stay alive, peace, freedom from civil disturbance, freedom from the succession of war or violence, used as a greeting, a state of quiet tranquility. Fam, you, and you, yeah, and you. Is there on no one for free? Do you think hope is naive? Wanna stop my chosen fam from breathing? Have we just tried to conceive visions that we receive? We always fight but never screaming. Of course we can pull it off, yeah. Find love and surround yourself, yeah. Treat your friends like you treat yourself. Love they smile, never love they love. If you wrap them tight, let you go online. No first change take place in the mind, revolt. No, we're the ones that's in control. All in together with powerful. Finding a calm and start. While fresh strokes more easily, heart is breathe. Sharpen the mind with serenity. See what you want, but take what you need. Is there on no more retreat? Do you think hope is naive? Wanna keep my little brother breathing. And we just try to believe the theories that we see. We always fight for never screaming. Peace, fam, gonna take these chains off me. Do the same for my family. Spread the love so we can all get free. Peace, fam, gonna take these chains off me. Do the same for my family. Spread the love so we can all get free. We must try, you know why? We'll never get by, if we lie, yo. We must try, you know why? We'll never get by, if we lie. Stay alive.
Sometimes you got to do things twice, but the good news is we got a professional. Well, who's counting? No, gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. Do you have anything on the horizon that we can let people know about? I mean, obviously there's the tape.
Yes,
it's also available digitally.
Yes.
Aren't you on the Spotify? That's it.
Yes.
I didn't know if we'd get you because you're verified on Spotify.
Yeah, I'm on Spotify and I'm verified and I'm spitting. SoundCloud, Bandcamp, if you actually want to donate and support the artistry and the hustle. Shows coming up. I'm doing the Chill as Fuck show tomorrow at Second City. Come by. That's at 10:30.
It's a family show, man.
Yeah. Oh. I I mean, yeah, just bleep me out.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll just bleep.
Yeah, and for my poetry-based group, I have a gig, Growing Concerns, we have a gig this Sunday with So Far Sounds, and a fundraiser coming up June 3rd.
June 3rd is the fundraiser.
Yeah, to support our album.
This is very good. Well, Michael, you're gonna do this this bit with me. Tony, you're out of here. So first, we're gonna give away this prize for the hashtag contest. Rachel Fleming.
Hi.
Hi. Hey.
Hey, Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel. Rachel, please introduce your friend.
This is not my friend, this is my son. His name is Reginald. My friend and I adopted him together about an hour ago.
On our way to find a bar, we found
Yeah, we found a Whole Foods instead.
Can you please tell the camera we've never met before? Because this is amazing. We didn't write this.
I swear to God, I was completely sober when I decided to adopt a squash.
Were you sober when you drew a face on the squash?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this much. First of all, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. He's such a beautiful boy.
Right, gorgeous, gorgeous. Have you read A People's History of Chicago, written by Kevin Coldwell?
Yeah.
Thank you for the hashtag Best Evening Ever, and I will talk to your son again. Give it up for Rachel, everybody. So good things happen to those who hashtag, Mike.
Obviously.
Just saying. So now, you have a background in poetry, do you not? You are a spoken word artist. You know, the theme is words. Yeah. Just came up with that yesterday. So, in that spirit, we thought that we would write some poems.
Yeah.
And, we take this very seriously, this art form and the dedication to the arts. And so, this is an impression off between Michael and I. And I will be playing for an audience member, and Michael will be playing for an audience member. What we're going to do is we're going to read these poems in a voice of a man who has done everything. He is amazing. We're going to read these poems, and whoever laughs first loses. Thing is, I've read the poems before, so it's a little lopsided. But who's going to go first? It's up to you.
Me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael DeVille, poem number 1.
So in the voice of Donald Trump.
Do your best. My theory is we should all nationally have an impression of this man. Whether it's good or not, especially if it isn't, actually. So, go.
You win.
Rose. Roses are red, lilacs are purple. I'm the president. Can you believe it?
Everyone needs to shut up. It could have happened to anyone. If I had known the screen door was closed, I wouldn't have walked into it.
We drop down a well. A weak man will drown. A strong man will tread water until help arrives. A hero will drink all the water and pee so hard
It rockets him out. I am that P.
I am the president. I choose how many syllables I want to use. This is a haiku. Next one is long, but I'm going to say you won.
Yeah!
You take your audience member. I've never read them before. I'll do the last one, but one more time, please give it up for Mike Helton. Just a bit, but I'm going to power through this last one, and whoever he was playing for wins. We'll figure that out later. Don't get bogged down in the details, people. It's a talk show. They can be so dense. They just go on, and the heavy ones are the worst. I guess some of them look good. People are impressed when you've got a good one with you. My dad used to have 2 or 3 going at a time. I had 4 at once in college once. That was too much to handle. Everyone tells me I should respect them, but what do they know? If I never had to deal with another one for the rest of my life, I'd die happy. God, I hate books. We'd love to have you on, sir. We'd love to have you on. And now we're very pleased to welcome this young lady to the stage. Please welcome Megan Dirty to the stage.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Awesome. You guys, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news and stuff, but there's a lot of violence going on right now in the country that I'm from. I'm from America. From here. You know, everything's like that's happening is like really insane right now. Our president's like actually crazy, right? Like his approval ratings are so low, right? Like nobody likes him. Like I don't even think Nationwide is on his side. Like even they're like, we don't know, like call State Farm. Things are pretty trash now, but like they're still better than like a few decades ago, right? Like for sure. That's why I hate it when old people talk about the good old days. You know, they're always like, oh man, I miss the good old days when we didn't have phones or texting. I'm always like, yeah, well you also didn't have openly gay people or the vote. So you win some and lose some, Grandma. Bitch. Has anyone here been to a haunted house before? Clap if you've been to a haunted house. I hate them. I think they're the worst. Like, I don't understand the concept. Why would I pay someone to make me miserable? Like, I'm already paying Comcast? Like, I think haunted houses were definitely invented by white men. You know? I feel like white dudes felt so safe in real life. They have to invent a place, right? Where they felt vaguely in danger. What would that be like? To everybody else, life is already a haunted house. Like we're all just walking around, doing our best, and then boo, it's a cop, boo, it's a creepy dude, boo, it's a dick against your butt. How'd it get there? Every time. You guys, I like to live by saying, you know, choose a career you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I don't, because I don't have a job. I recently left my job because I was asked to. I've had a job since I was 16, so I didn't know how to deal with being laid off. I listened to Fix You by Coldplay 20 times. And then I felt even worse, because I realized on top of being laid off, I also have terrible taste in music. Friends have started to give me advice, you know. They're always like, Meg, The key is to make a to-do list so you feel accomplished every day. So I've started to make a to-do list, but now my list has just gotten shorter, okay? Now it just says 1, leave the bed, 2, or don't, who cares, you don't have a job. Like, do whatever you want. For the first time in my life, I've stopped caring, right? I decided this year for Lent, I'm giving up. Just giving up. And if you look in the mirror and say, I don't give a fuck 3 times in a row, Kanye West appears and high-fives you. Another thing about me, I like it when people label their food in the fridge, you know, because then I know who to thank for my meal. I told my roommate that joke, and she was like, what? And I was like, sorry, whom to thank for my meal? She's a grammar Nazi. Sorry, grammar alt-right. That's rebrand. It's a new way to say it. It's a weird. I'm genuinely terrified that we're gonna go to war, but like not with another country, just with ourselves, right? Because this country's super divided right now. I feel like there's gonna be a civil war between like the rural states and the cities, which is terrifying. Because if we go to war, they have the guns, you know? What are we gonna do? Quote an NPR article? Stab them with an Etsy spoon? We're all so lazy, we try to Uber to battle, like... It wouldn't work. I miss Obama. Does anyone else miss Obama? It's a good thing, though, because I have a life-size cardboard cutout of Barack Obama in my living room. It's not my first, though. My friend used to have one, and she lent it to me because the cutout freaked her dog out. Her dog was a Republican, and not like Obama. But I'm from D.C., and one of my favorite things to do was to put him in my car and just drive into D.C. traffic. just freak people out. Like, wait, is that the leader of the Free Nation in a Prius? Like, wow, he really does care about the environment. I would definitely take him into the carpool lane with me, which was terrible because people would get pissed off at that. One time I had my windows down, cruising, and this dude looks over, he's like, hey, you can't do that. And I was like, yes, we can, and just... I am single. I'm single and ready to have a healthy relationship. If I had to describe my love life, it would be like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Like a lot of twists and turns, but still fucking disappointing. The first guy I ever dated ended up being gay. Yeah, and I knew he was gay because we were getting ready for a party, and he was like, Meg, I'm gay. That's how I knew. I'm Indian, for those of you who can't see me in the back. I'm Indian, so I have naturally more hair than white girls, but my mom, growing up, wouldn't let me shave, so I got to go to homecoming with like a light mustache. So hot. Better yet, my date couldn't grow one. He was like, you got any tips? Like, you just coming so thick. I did go to Indian second base with him, though, right? Which is just like a high five. First base is eye contact. I grew up with very conservative Indian parents. They never talked to me about sex or reproductive health. I thought menopause was a Pokemon. No. That's why I don't think I could ever do anything crazy like have a threesome or something. I also don't think I could have a threesome because I'm really bad at group chats. Like, it's too much. Can't handle it. Recently, one of my friends asked me like what my number was, like my number of sexual partners, and mine's pretty low. I'm not gonna lie. I try to be selective. You know, I like to think of myself as an Ivy League school, like a low admittance rate. But most of the people who've gotten in have been white men. Statistically, I feel like guys are more like University of Phoenix. You know, like they'll just take anyone. Right? Like they're heavily recruiting, but it's mostly online. I am trying to be more of a hoe. Trying. It's hard. I'm not good at it. Because I feel like I give off a very nice person kind of vibe. You know, like I smile a lot. I wear dresses. I look like someone who's going to offer you gum. You know? Like I'll watch your laptop if you're in the bathroom. Turns out I don't need to flirt with dudes to sleep with them. I was at this party breathing, and it sort of worked out. So I'll end on this, you guys. I just celebrated living 3 years in Chicago. My mom was scared when I was moving here, and I was like, Mom, you can relax. I'm moving to the lamest neighborhood in Chicago. I'm moving to Lakeview. It even sounds like a retirement home, Lakeview. As you drive in, there's a sign that says, there's more dogs and minorities here. I like Chicago, but I do feel like there's a lot of PDA in Chicago. Like, last week I saw a guy jacking off on the blue line. A lot of public affection. I was going to walk by and be like, hey man, you do you, but he already was. All right guys, that's my time, thank you.
Megan Guernsey, everybody! Hey, thanks. I didn't hear the set. So, how'd it go? Did it go okay? I'm sorry, do you have any gum?
Not with me, but in my jacket, actually.
Nice! Crazy bumping you on the blue line last week, too. That was No! That is impolite. Meg, thanks for being on the show. I mean, it's really cool.
Having me.
We've been trying to make this work for a long time, and I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
So you're a copywriter.
Yes. I am.
So, I mean, you know, what are the rates? So, you know, before we talk about rates, do you write copy for talk shows or local civic oriented, comedic vehicles? No. Okay. Well,
I write copy for Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Well, same thing.
Fisher-Price.
Fisher-Price. Well, we're not that kid friendly. How long have you been in Chicago?
It'll be 3 years at the end of this month.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
And that's long enough to get in on the scene. You have a show tomorrow night at CH Distillery, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Due diligence.
Yes. No, you guys, you should totally come. It's in the West Loop, and it's an amazing time. Michael Isaac is headlining the show. And
Hey.
he's in Windy City Live.
Yes, he
He's
is.
on Empire. He's amazing.
Empire of the show.
Yes.
Right. Not the Star Wars bad guys.
Not the next time.
Cool. Next up, well, aim high. Darth Maul, maybe. He works the scene.
But it's at 8:30, and you can talk to me after the show. I can give you guys discounted tickets. It's going to be great.
We're going to talk.
Yeah.
And that's monthly, is it not?
Yes, it is monthly. It's the first Saturday of every month.
What do you know? We're the first Friday.
Wow, you can come here, and then you can sleep, and then go there.
We're not sleep at all.
Keep going.
Meg, I hope you'll come back soon.
I will.
Excellent. We got her on tape. Give it up for Megan Guernsey. And now, we come to the interview portion of the show where I have to really pay attention. I'm beyond thrilled to welcome this young man up onto the stage. He is an educator, he is an author, he is a thinker, he is a doer, and he's about as Chicago as Chicago gets. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Kevin Cole. Kevin! I hope you don't mind. I have an old style.
Yeah.
It's nice Chicago brew. I'm not from here. I'm compensating. I might be overcompensating.
You told me where you're from.
Buffalo, New York.
New York.
Originally.
Yeah, that we share many things.
seriously, thanks for being here. This is amazing. You are on a roll with the book.
Pat, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, it's okay.
The off mic. Mr. Copel is turning it off, so we just got to switch that baby on.
Awesome. Hey.
Also, we don't want to get in trouble with Fiji, so if we could just turn that.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, you can leave it up. I like to give you insinuation.
Are you being serious?
No.
Okay. That's good.
I want more Fijis.
Oh, that. We're looking for a sponsorship from Jameson, so flash that as much as you want. I don't want to get in trouble with Michael DeVille, but I'm going to put his tape right here. Not bad, that Michael DeVille.
Just 30 more seconds and we'll have it ready. Sorry, Pat.
That's okay. I mean, I can even keep talking too. Oh wait, I'm going to give away another one of these awesome books. Woo! Yeah. Is that okay? I keep giving them away, and I feel like publishing is not a non-profit business. Okay, it's more about advertisements. This one goes to Jared for using the hashtag. No biggie. We are on Friendster. Check us out. It's live TV. It's live Facebook TV anyway. So Kevin.
You're doing great, brother.
Thanks, man. Where are you from? I mean, we can still talk.
I live in Albany Park.
Oh, that's up here.
Yeah, my dad was born right around the corner.
On Kenmore, no?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, 5629.
5629?
North Kenmore.
That's a hop, skip, and a jump.
That's where we went to Senn High School. I mean,
Was it Senn Arts at the time?
it was no. It was like Senn shithole, I think.
Well, a lot's changed under our beloved Alderman Harry Osterman. There's a show going on in here right now.
Oh my God.
This isn't my set, by the way. No, I am done with school forever. But this set actually belongs to Blood at the Root. So you've seen it.
I just saw it. And
What do you think? Probably not really your thing.
yeah, no, I mean, I might have cried maybe. I mean, allegedly.
Right. We weren't filming that.
Good. It was the cast, the writing, the direction. I don't see a ton of theater because I feel like a lot of it isn't necessarily for me, and by that I mean it's corny. And that was one of the best cultural productions I've been in the city. So, it was so good, and it was so real, and a lot of those folks, I've seen before, either in Louder Than a Bomb or in Idris Goodwin's How He Got On. And yeah, I mean, I told Vic, when his just the way he handled getting free at the end. I don't know if you guys have seen, and I guess I think the folks around him supporting him, clapping him towards getting free. I thought was also obviously metaphor and shit, but I mean, it was dope. Yeah, it was dope.
I'm an actor. It's almost always never a metaphor.
Okay.
It means exactly what it is. Sometimes a pipe is just a pipe, Hey, I mean, Mike's working, so I mean, now. Hey, Kevin, thank you for being here. It's really cool to have you. The book is called A People's History of Chicago. there's other books on history. I'm not, it's not a criticism.
It's not the first.
I just, so what's the difference? This is a people's history, and then I feel like there are other books that are like history for like inanimate objects or like animals. Why this book, and why now? Is that good or what? Shout out to Trevor Noah.
You're much more handsome.
You're all right. You can stay. This would intimidate the hell out of the Daily Show staff, by the way. They don't have old style out there. Okay, enough. I'm overcompensating again. But really, though, there are plenty of books out there about Chicago history, which is a fascinating history, by the way. I mean, this town is chock full of amazing firsts. I think the thing that I always think about is that when people first started coming out here and building here, this was the frontier. Like, west of here was nothing. And so it was a very new place. It was full of a lot of energy and people who were going to innovate and really strive for things. But again, well-documented history. So what were you trying to do different from that with this one?
Well, even that narrative, there was a lot of people here. They were indigenous folks who white people kicked off the land and killed. And so...
Do you have that whiskey?
And that, you're right, though. That kind of genocide is very inventive.
We'll be right back. No, but I mean, that's real. When you go to DuSable Bridge, which is probably one of the only things named after Jean-Baptiste Point Dusabel, the first resident of the city of Chicago, a Haitian French fur trader. Not a lot of things named after him. His memory is not kept alive very well. And even separate from that, the intersection of Wacker and Michigan, now I'm just showing off, is where Fort Dearborn was. I mean, anyone who lives here has probably heard of Fort Dearborn. It was, in a proud American tradition of building military bases in places we wanted to own. So what went along with that? It was crowding out the people who lived here originally. And we've talked about this. We've talked about the fact that Chicago is derived from a word that is a Native American word, and we just appropriated the hell out of that. Thanks very much. This is ours. Bye.
So the reason why I wrote this book is because the book I'm writing now is about gentrification, and I'm looking at I moved back to Chicago into Wicker Park in the 90s, and I saw that community change fairly rapidly. I mean, I moved into a predominantly Mexican working class community. I was the first white person on my block, and after me ushered all sorts of radical shifts in that neighborhood. And I was thinking then also about my parents who moved to a neighborhood called Newtown, which is now East Lakeview, which was predominantly black and Puerto Rican, which is one of the bastions of where the Young Lords were organizing from. And after they came, it was also a radically different neighborhood. Now, we know it to be, Fraternity Row or Wrigleyville or whatever.
Sounds like a retirement home.
Yeah, it is, right.
Lakeview.
But what I started to do was when I was analyzing what are some of the historical causes of gentrification, I just started to write all of these historical poems and going back and trying to analyze. And of course, there's no better place to look. I mean, that's why even the title of the play that we're on the stage of is so powerful. Is that there's blood on this land and there's blood in our history. And part of what I found fascinating is that from the very beginning we've been gentrifying this land. We've been erasing working people from the place that they've lived for generations. And so I think that there's something significant then about, I'm a student of history, I'm a nerd of history, and so if we don't know those stories, then we're going to continue to repeat them ad nauseam.
Nerd.
Yeah.
No, it's true. You can't. You've mentioned this, that the idea behind the book being we're going to repeat the mistakes if we don't know we're repeating the mistakes. And the only way to learn, and learn from that experience and from your mistake, is to go back and examine it. Might be a little uncomfortable, but I just think it goes with the territory, does it not?
Well, and I mean, we need to be uncomfortable. I mean, if we're not uncomfortable in this moment, then we're okay with what we deem normal. And what is normal in this moment is a constant dehumanization of many kinds of people. What is normal is a perpetual war and bombing and eradication of brown communities around the planet. What is normal is a grand inequity of wealth when it comes to race, when it comes to gender, when it comes to an alarming murdering of black trans people. I mean, that's normal. And so I feel like if we're cool with what is, then we should definitely be made uncomfortable, in order to shift our perspective to counter that normalcy.
Indeed, uncomfortability is a good sign, because it shows that you are not comfortable with the way things are going. You recognize that it is bad, and then you get a chance to change it, to
right,
really do something, and be like, let's do something about it. And, one example, and out of many, and I mean, it's 77 poems. It's not, a history book in 1642, da-da-da-da-da. Beautiful illustrations throughout. Obviously beautiful poems.
There's six different illustrators from Chicago, provided 3 illustrations for the book, and they really made that shit come alive.
Hebrew Brantley, one of them.
Hebrew Brantley, that's Hebrew's homie, Troy Scott, who's a former Lot of the Navam student from Kenwood. One of my former students at UIC, a woman named Runzi, Bianca Pastel, who's also one of Hebrew's peoples. Max Sansing is one of my favorite street artists in Chicago, and my guy Paul Brampton as well. They all provided illustrations.
If I forget, don't let me to loop back to graffiti.
Okay.
But what you were just saying about the book, who wrote the foreword again?
Chancellor Bennett.
Oh, Chancellor Bennett. It means something to somebody. I'm not what you have a lot of overlap with students who have used Louder Than a Bomb, young Chicago authors, which you got into at a very young age. I mean, you started teaching at the age of 21, and you stuck with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked John Cohen, our box office guy. He's a member of the Chicago Teachers Union here in town.
Who we love and support.
Absolutely. The only thing I can equate with John is that it feels so good once you stop beating your head against the wall as a teacher. And I don't mean that in terms of the profession of like the idea of why you teach, but as the adversity that you face as a teacher. There's a shortage of resources here. You've talked openly about the Chicago public schools, and I'm attempting here to bridge a gap between the work you're doing as a teacher in terms of writing and empowering kids to write, and what that does for them. And at the same time, we have an inequity in our public schools and elsewhere in terms of focusing on that as a thing that can be effective in empowering these kids. Do you see that, or am I just way off?
No. I think like young people are mad empowered, and I really don't do shit other than try to create a space where I can listen. I think that we are in a moment of radical unlistening as a culture.
No. That's not true. So anyway.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you. How do you like my tie?
It's all right.
No, you're creating a culture of listening.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like young people are super hip and super progressive. One of my favorite things of the Seder, of the Passover Seder, is they say each generation will reveal new freedoms, and so inevitably, like as older folk, you have to really shut the fuck up and listen to what young people are saying, because young people will push you to be better. And so, like I have a great gig, which is constantly being around young geniuses who will tell you about your shit, who have an incredibly democratic, radical vision of equity of how the city could continue to live into the future, and who are incredibly gifted with the pen. You know what I mean? These are genius-ass storytellers who are changing the way that the world listens. I mean, we're in this moment of cultural renaissance in the city of Chicago because young people have taken democratized tools of technology into their own hands to find an audience around the globe. And these are folks who are 14 to 27 who are creating the best shit in the world right now, you know, in the city. You know, and I think that has to do with, you know, their own ingenuity, their own genius, their own desire to be heard. And because they constantly see on a regular basis that their lives are consistently criminalized into every institution that they step in. And so they are reflecting and resisting that dehumanization and criminalization.
I'm sorry, I tuned out. No,
That's good.
no. You know, not only does writing and, you know, you talked about hip-hop specifically, but I think writing in general and poetry and spoken word and all these kinds of things empower not just the kids either, not just the youth, right, but in a way that can give them the tools to express themselves. And again, without the resources to really fund this through schools, it's kind of tough to get that out there. But I mean, Louder Than Obama's in 17 cities throughout the country.
Yeah.
But here locally, you know, there are groups of youth like Asada's Daughters and like BYP 100 that are having very big impacts civically. I think you've attributed the election of Kim Fox and the ousting of Anita Alvarez to these young groups that are not plugged into, you know, they don't have a talk show on Facebook, which is so effective. But they are organized, and they feel powerful, and they don't adhere to the narrative that maybe is more prevalent throughout the city.
And what an incredible city to organize in. You know, I think one of the reasons why I wanted to write the book is because, particularly in this moment, I wanted to remind us of our tradition of organizing and winning. You know, I think that we don't always remember that this is a city where working people have fought for everything that we've gotten. I mean, it wasn't just handed to us that we were going to get an 8-hour workday. People fought and died for the right to work only 8 hours. You know, people fought and died for child labor laws in this city. I mean, through this city, you know, you have the incredible vision of Chairman Fred Hampton, who was murdered and assassinated by CPD and the FBI at 21 for having this vision, right? Fred Hampton talked about the Real Rainbow Coalition, a solidarity organization between the Black Panthers, the Young Lords, primarily Puerto Rican folks who were organizing similarly to the Black Panthers, and the Young Patriots, a group of progressive Appalachian white folks in Uptown. And once he started to bring those folks together to have this kind of working class interracial solidarity, that's when they were like, hell no, like that, absolutely not. What scares the center the most is when working people come together despite via their class solidarity as opposed to their racial solidarity. And so I think that that's ultimately one of the things that I also wanted to talk about in the book, is that people have organized and fought very hard in the city to resist, to contend the dominant stronghold of the capital, the center, and have won. And I think working people are continuing to win in this moment. Asada's Daughters, BYP 100, the Let Us Breathe Collective. I think if you want to follow, what has been the progressive, trend in this city and the country, just look at what, Black women are doing. And then you'll then see and get a vision of what the future is. So yeah, I think that's dope.
That's dope. By the way, happy Loyalty Day. I'm sorry I didn't. Did we all hear about Loyalty Day? Loyalty Day. No, they changed it. Loyalty Day is what our president, Donald Trump, has named May 1st. So it used to be May Day or, Workers' Rights Day or something like that. And they changed it to Loyalty Day. The background of Loyalty Day, real quick, started in the 1950s as a way to, counter the Red Scare, if you will. And so if you weren't loyal to the country, didn't celebrate, maybe you belong on a list somewhere. What a coincidence it happens to be on May Day. So, yeah, happy Loyalty Day, Kev. How you been, man? How was your Loyalty Day? Did you have a barbecue? What'd you do? Come on, lay it on me.
You know what story I read that I loved recently is that Colin Kaepernick came with a bus of suits for men who were just getting out of prison in New York. Yeah. You saw that shit? Like that was. I'm like, yo, my G, you are a superhero for real. I mean, that's like what a superhero does. You just swoop in with like, nah, everybody gets sued. He was like, Oprah. And I think I read that like on May Day,
I feel like you're dodging my Loyalty Day.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was May in Chicago. No, I mean, people were out. People were out. I mean, you got a glimpse of what it means when people really organize. And I think we organize in a tradition in the city that is unparalleled. We organize in the tradition of Ida B. Wells. We organize in the tradition of Saul Alinsky. We organize in the tradition of Harold Washington. Harold Washington used Fred Hampton's campaign strategy to get elected. And people. I know a lot of people. I mean, Rudy Lozano, and I know Rudy's family very well. I was just with Rudy Jr. the other day. Rudy Lozano Sr. was assassinated for trying to organize the tortilla workers in Pilsen. And he was also charged via Harold Washington with bringing blacks and Latinos together. And that's when, people were like, no, that freaks people out. And so we organized in a tradition of people who've been taken to task for bringing people together to resist that dominant narrative, the dominant history, and the dominant way of doing business. And to me, that's like how you turn up for May Day.
And so this is, yes, you talk about Haymarket, if I'm not mistaken, which is also, there's a monument to it downtown. But you say dominant narrative, and so this clearly is not. Are you omitting anything? How do you write something that is not the dominant narrative?
Yeah,
are you discovering things that aren't widely known or publicized, or how does that work?
Well, I try to put on for cultural figures and moments that I am particularly interested in. There's also only 77 poems, and it's from my vantage point. I'm a heterosexual white male, and so I have giant gaps and blind spots, and I can only tell the story that I see. And so part of the work that I'm doing over the course of this year is to also do 180 readings in 365 days, where I'm compiling with Chicago Public Library and StoryCorps and Young Chicago Authors of voices of people's history archive that will live in perpetuity, where we could have then the stories of people who live in this moment and who have also been documenters of this moment to really record what it's been like to be in Chicago for real, and not what the tourist board will have, people in China know.
So, you look back and you dig through the crates, if you will, of history.
That's good.
Thank you very much. But that's different from what you do in terms of the present and the future, because it feels like the teaching is more of looking ahead. You talk about how you have to appreciate the new perspective and things of that nature. Are you hopeful of the future in this work with the youth that you do?
Yeah, also just look like, how can you not be, but also just look around Chicago right now, and that's what Studs Terkel talked about, it being a Chicagoan and understanding the city. You also have, Chicago has a Janus head. You look one way and it's the most beautiful city on the planet. You look another way and it's also the most brutal. But I think also if you see what young people have done historically, this is also the home of House.
Yeah.
Right? And so what was House, right? And I tell some of the stories in the book about House. House is a space that was carved out by young, queer, black, and Latinx men to have a safe space for their bodies to move. Eventually, they invited other people to the party, as my good homie Boogie McLaren says, who's a House historian and choreographer and dance instructor at the Oaktown School of Folk Music. She says that House practices a notion of radical inclusivity. that regardless of who you are, regardless of the condition of your body, if you want to get down in the cultural space of house, you can. And to me, that is the vision of the city of the future. Not the vision of, the president, and not the vision of the mayor, and not the vision of most of the aldermen, but the vision of the people. And I believe in the power of the people. I believe that this is our city. It's our city ultimately to unleash our radical imagination into the civic sphere and make it what it will be. And what it will be, hopefully, moving forward, is a city where we have, greater egalitarianness, greater fairness across zip code. Where if you are born into a particular neighborhood, it is not the trap, literally and figurative. But you will also have a right to health care, you will have a right to a quality public education, and that it's our space, and it's our time, and it's our duty to do so as Chicagoans. If we really love this city, if we moved here from Buffalo, if we moved here from wherever the fuck, and we're going to live here, then it's our duty to make it a better and more just and equitable and fair space for all.
You're a cool dude. I like you. You mentioned the civic sphere. Where is it? Because I've been looking, and I've looked at the maps, and I've been reading sometimes. Where is it? The civic sphere. It sounds. I really like the sound of it. It sounds really great. It sounds like radical inclusion, and everyone has a voice, and it's very democratic. Can you point me in the direction I take the blue line? Like, what am I doing?
Well, you actually helped to create it.
Okay, well,
no, you do.
I'm not fishing.
No, I know. but look, even I mean, what you put on for good folk, and you bring people together. And I think one of the great things about Chicago is the theater community and the storefront theater community, right? And so you could go on. How many storefront theaters? There's like 200 plus,
yeah, there's a lot,
right? And that has everything to do then with people turning their backs, I think, on some of the I'm turning their backs on the center and be like, we don't need a Broadway, because we don't. We need each other, right? And we need each other in community. And so I think that part of what the storefront community theater project has been in the city is because we want to see and hear ourselves reflected in that space of the civic sphere. That if we only look at dominant sources of media and we only see regurgitated, problematized white supremacist notions and patriarchal notions and homophobic notions and transphobic notions about what it means to be a person in this moment, then we have to create a different narrative. And
right.
To me, that's the civic sphere that I think we are creating and then also challenging.
So it's not a physical place. It's a place within ourselves.
And it's a physical space.
Okay, no.
So we're. But that was. So our organizing principle out of the development is we organize in schools and community centers because that's where the people are. And what we try to do is create these micro guerrilla sanctuaries across the city in every neighborhood and build a culture where people can hear one another. And then bring those, myriad of small armies into a center space in the city, downtown, where they could also build and see one another. But the strength of the movement doesn't come from the center. It comes from the masses at the periphery. And so if they're going to build, we don't, for our work that we're doing, we don't need a civic opera house. We don't need a galvanized, white column center. If they're going to build the center, then we need to be, quicker. We need to be guerrilla-esque. And I think that the organizing of the civic space then is in block to block, neighborhood to neighborhood. We need to have safe spaces where young people could go to be themselves without apology and without walking through a metal detector. And they need then to be on the block, and then that conversation needs to go all city. And so it is yes, a space that exists within us. And
you can have that for free.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no problem.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Next point.
Yeah.
I like
the civic space within me.
It's got a nice ring to it, man. It'd be a great hashtag. It's a fake metal detector, by the way.
I know. No, I know. Yeah, but that's why it's a. Yeah.
This, and I mean, so this continues. We got to wrap up, but tomorrow night, Louder Than a Prom, which is just seems like another example of you empowering the youth, giving them a chance to express themselves. Can you tell us a little bit about it and where people can learn more about LTEP?
Yeah, youngchicagoauthors.org. And so Louder Than a Prom is our first ever year of doing an alternative prom. The folks were like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable going to my prom, and it's too expensive, and also I can't bring like my girlfriend there, because I also identify as a girl. And so we're like, okay, well, what do you want to do? They're like, you throw a prom. Like, damn, okay, all right, cool. What should we call it? They're like, I don't know, Louder Than a Prom. I'm like, that's hot. Yeah, so it's tomorrow night at the Concord Music Hall. It's our first ever. Darren Alexis is performing, Matt Muse is performing, Rick Wilson's performing, the Happiness Club will be out there dancing, DJ Cashera, we're partnering with Party Noir, so Ray Chardonnay is also DJing, Shantae Linwood is DJing. It's going to be like a very turnt party for young people, so I have to go and just be like, well, I'm getting there late because I'm also giving the commencement tomorrow at UIC, which is hilarious. I know, I'm nervous. I mean, I'm not nervous. I'm disappointed that they aren't giving me an honorary doctorate. But afterwards, I go to Louder Than a Prom, and I just got to be like, all right, y'all, please leave room for Jesus. You know what I mean?
The Holy Spirit is present.
Yes.
This is work that you continue to do not only here in Chicago, but all around the country, all year round. You're a great booster of the city. You're a smart dude, and I can't thank you enough for joining us here today.
Yeah, thanks.
The book, again, A People's History of Chicago, written and devised by Kevin Coble. Kevin. I'm just saying. But before I do, we're going to welcome up Mike DeVille one more time.
What we're going to do to make sure we nail this on the first go is we're going to do a quick mic check, sound check, to make sure everything comes through nice and smooth.
Yeah. On the fly, I'm deciding to just kind of do this one a cappella on the mic without a beat.
I love it.
Right.
What? Yes, I love this!
So what we'll do kind of say with you and Michael is, Michael, if you could pass the pedal and announce you on, but if you could do a quick mic check, we'll make sure it sounds real nice.
The theme is words. Do you see? How it's working? It's working.
You good? Can I be just a tad bit louder? Oh yeah.
You like that?
It's all right.
Yeah. Can y'all hear? Yeah. Y'all can hear? As long as y'all can hear, that's the important part.
So we'll have Alex do a quick slate, and then let's announce the hell out of this man.
I'll do the clappy one, just so we can make it quick.
And thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, this is nice.
Right?
Ladies and gentlemen, back again. Nope, gotta slate first.
Higher up.
Higher up. Higher up.
There we go. You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, back again to perform from his new album, Peace Fam. Now doing Mingus Baby. Please welcome Michael DeVille.
Yeah. I've never done it this way before, but I thought it'd be apt because the theme is words, and I really want y'all to hear what I'm talking about. I think I say a lot, and sometimes it's hard. So, yeah. Sometimes we don't talk to each other or ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to talk. Yo, especially when you black. It's a lot to unpack. But we gotta move forward. Yo. Them black boys carve pain into their backs, spending youth hiding panic attacks. Taught to worship self-annihilation and keeping that secret intact. Just choosing to live be your radical act is real and don't I know it? I sit alone in my four-corner room staring at candles, tagging repression I couldn't handle like a vandal. Depression got me searching for what the signal scrambled. I need to pinpoint, I roll a thin joint, but then I think, is this alleviation? Or just another way to numb and keep my feet escaping? A shackled slave tackling runaway thoughts, don't know what to do if I caught one. Negotiating patience on the outskirts of plantations. I want to live, I want to try. The thought be yelling up to me with panic in its eyes. It buys some time disguised as reflection. I'm staring straight into a message. Ancestral psyche was neglected and affected. Shit, I know it ain't no mystery. Black and brown absorb the pain of human history. Abstain from seeking help. Maybe tainted by a system made to help me hate myself. So fuck some therapy. Don't need no charity. I can't afford it, Lord. And now disorders got me sketching, branching storyboards. Different agendas. Mood shifting, I'm getting slender. My anger speaking foreign languages, critique dilemmas. I can't decipher, feeling trapped like I'm on Rikers Island. But in my mind, the worst kind of solitary confinement. Just want to start the dialogue, y'all. It's hard to do it through these brick walls. Mental cement halls, we tend to get lost. Just wondering, hovering over pitfalls. I tried to speak upon my great ghost. They must have had to find some peace to keep from losing hope. Critique the scope of genius. Black brilliance sold as fiendish. You can't be great unless you battle with some inner demons. That's how they sell it, right? They say he angry like Mingus, baby. Probably manic like Thelonious Monk. Look how his pride shrunk, eyes shut. Is he about to get violent? Yo, why he screaming, never smiling? What? They say he angry like Mingus, baby. Probably manic like Thelonious Monk. Look how his pride shrunk, eyes shut. Is he about to get violent? Yo, why he screaming, never smiling? Look, this trauma generational. Passed down irreplaceable. Entangled in the roots, survived out, we inspirational. Lopsided ratios. It's a thin line between breaking cycles and taking lives. We dancing on it. The rhythm romantic. The river of madness overflowing. The feeling is frantic. Just being alive moment to moment. Knowing we ain't really got no help. When the city making clubs out of centers built for health. Man, that's bullshit. But we ain't new to this. We truly this. Creating bliss. There be some hideous beauty inside the crevices. Our preference should be relieving where the pressure is. We not nobody's fucking specimens. Our vulnerability ain't a liability. We have to find that utility in our sensitivity. It's all we got. I try my best to have the right exchange. Because when I look up in the mirror, I want to see change. It's real, but they say he angry like Mingus, baby. Probably manic like Thelonious Monk. Look how his pride shrunk, eyes shut. Is he about to get violent? Yo, why he screaming, never smiling? What? They say he angry like Mingus, baby. Probably manic like Thelonious Monk. Look how his pride shrunk, eyes shut. Is he about to get violent? Yo, why he screaming, never smiling? Echoes in my mind saying keep it quiet. Echoes in my mind trying to stop the fire rising, but I'm non-compliant. I can't control when I'm burst. Drink attention like I'm thirsty. It hurts me. I'm swelling with that pain, man. I think America's against me. Tricked me singing freedom versus liberty. Then pumped me full of false identity. Yo, of course I'm hearing voices. No choice. Just hone in on the one that's screaming peace. Please get your brother out them streets. Yo, peace. Please get your mother out them streets. Yo, peace. Please get your sister out them streets, yo, peace. Please get your niece out them streets with peace. Please get your nephew out them streets with peace. Please try to do it with these beats like peace. Please tell the truth when you speak like peace. Please help the youth cause they you, yo, peace. Please stay alive, know it's hard, find peace. Please know your love, that's a start, find peace. Please put the pride on the shelf, find peace. Please take the time for yourself. Find peace. Find peace. Find peace. Find peace. Find peace. Thank you.
say that. But in order to do so, well, we'll give out some more books later. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about episode 28, words. Words matter. Words have meaning. I have here a book by a man who has written a lot of words that are very informative and that you're not going to find in a lot of places. I have a tape here by a young man who's seen a lot of stuff and has put both of these through a creative lens that will affect you if you listen. And this is the part I really want to underscore. Words matter, but we can't all talk at the same time. You have to listen. You have to keep your ears open. And let me tell you, as a straight white hetero dude in a suit, if you're uncomfortable, it means it's working. You gotta pay attention. You gotta constantly check yourself. And man, if we're all just telling our own truth, as louder than a bomb empowers people to do, it's going to work. If you listen to people's truth and give your own, we're all going to be on the same page here. Whether you're black or white or orange, You have to choose your words wisely, but you also got to listen. I think we're here in a time and a place geographically, culturally, as we've talked about, at a real advantage. I mean, we're more connected than ever as a culture, but as Kevin said, he's striving for radical listening. And I think it's something we can all do. And especially as a guy who interviews people, I gotta work on that. But at the same time, you have people like Megan Dirty who are obviously very smart and very talented, and they're working for folks like Coca-Cola and Fisher-Price, guys. We gotta catch up. We got some catching up to do. But while listening is probably the most important part, the other is please do use your words and know that they are matter. They do have weight. They do have meaning. They do have impact. Said the guy with the talk show. But give it a shot. I'm just saying. Hey, Mark. We're still streaming. Use your words. My mom said it all the time. And I want to thank everyone who joined me up here tonight to use theirs. Michael, Meg, and Kevin, thank you so much. Big thanks to Tony as well for rolling with the punches. Big thanks to our sponsors, Edgeworks Cranes, The Daily Line, _ The Yard Theater Company, Jackalope Theater Company. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Give it up for yourself. I want to thank the crew. Please stick around to kick it with us. Maybe have an old style or two, but wherever you are, have a good evening. Hey, I hope that catches on.